Alright, hey guys, AnimeWestReacts here is going to review, or my reaction to chapter 46 of Sachi-iro no One Room. And I think this, yeah. Chapter 46. So yeah, it starts the chapter off with seemingly like rain flowing and a hand reaching out or pulling away, something along those lines. So we start off with Haru and his dad. His dad saying, "Can Tomiya live here with us?" And then his dad says, "I think he's being abused by his parents. They won't acknowledge he exists. Neglect, it's called. I looked it up. Or neglect, it's called. I looked it up. They won't feed him. He cries and sobs, and they just ignore him. Some days they won't even let him out of the house. First time I met him, he said he had no place to go, no home." This is his dad talking to Haru, and then he says, "You know what it feels like to not have a home, right? So you wouldn't mind if..." And then Haru finally just snaps and yells, "Shut the hell up." And then he says, I'm not paying the rent on this place to let some weird kid live here." And then Haru's like, "I get it. You don't care about me at all anymore, do you? I finally get it. You just want to throw a never-ending pity party with some poor, pathetic kid who you think understands you. Well, I'm sorry I didn't grow up to be a failure. If you've got time to worry about people's misery, then look for a damn job. You're just an unemployed old bastard." That's what Haru said, and then his dad just says, "Sorry." "Well, yeah, you're right. It was just an idea." And then Haru, monologuing, says, "The only thing I could think was that I just didn't matter to him anymore, not at all." And the dad, hey, like some time later, a couple days maybe, "Hey, Haru." And then he says, "We need to talk." And then he just kind of ignores him. And then he's thinking he probably just wants to talk about Tomiya again. "I don't want to hear it." And then he says, or he's thinking, or pointing out that he apologized whenever I saw him. He started coming home later and later. So yeah, you see the clock, it's like 11 ish, like a little bit past 11 at night, I guess. Then Haru's thinking, does he think an apology is all it takes? And then his dad says, "Oh, Haru." And then Haru says, "I'm going to bed." Then he thinks, when I saw him, I didn't even want to talk to him. It was almost winter again. Then Haru notices some, or is thinking, "I'm used to him not being here. He really loves Tomiya though, huh?" And then he sees a thing on the table, and Haru says, "You got my fake ID out, why?" And then he goes in a drawer, or he says, "It was in the back of the drawer. What did he use it for?" And so yeah, he goes and looks through the drawer, sees the bank account book, and yeah, Haru starts thinking, "Did I ever make a bank account with this ID?" And so yeah, then he opens it, sees a letter, or he doesn't see a letter, but there's a note in the bank account book that says "for Haru" or "to Haru," and he thinks, "For me." There's 300,000 yen, and then he says, or Haru's thinking, did he? And then, yeah, when you try to say, "Haru, we need to talk," and then he says, "Don't tell me," and then he rushes out of the house, and is thinking, is the reason he's coming home late because he found a job? He's been putting the money into an account I have access to. And then as Haru's running, he's thinking, "Where are you, old man?" And then Haru realizes he actually did mean something to him. And as he's running, he's thinking, "Work, the river, I need to find you. I need to find Dad and apologize." And as I guess he's running, he ends up at the river, and then you got people talking. Someone says, "Holy shit, the cops are here," and then Haru thinks the cops. And he says, As I headed towards the usual spot on the riverbank, I saw a crowd gathering by the river. And then he hears the onlookers. One says an accident, and then one says, ew, that's really nasty. Haru's like, I had a bad feeling. And he starts like sweating profusely. And like glances over and sees some like police. And they're like, they're checking out the body, I guess. So like they had put a tarp over it. And then someone says, did he drown? We'll have to wait for an one of the cops, I guess, says, did he drown? We'll have to wait for the autopsy, I guess. Then you have Tomiya crying and one of the police saying, we'll call your parents, okay? And so Tomiya seemingly fell in the river because he's wet and cops put a blanket around him. And then Haru thinks, no, I'm going home. I'm sure Dad'll just come walking through the door like nothing happened. It's just a coincidence that those are the same shoes he wears. And he's just thinking, please be a mistake. But he says, no. No matter how long I waited, Dad never came home. And he says, in the end, there were no witnesses. The police announced that a homeless, unemployed man kidnapped a boy and tried to drown him in the river. Supposedly, that was what Tomiya said, but his parents probably made him say it. Homeless, unemployed, he didn't get a job under his real name. Knowing him, Tomiya fell into the river and he left him to save him. Which is probably the accurate. And then he gets a call from his boss. It's his boss from work. But he just ignores it, lays down, and says, I never got to call him Dad. Not even once. I just wanted to have a happy life with him. And then he's like looking off to the side and it says, I guess you don't actually cry at times like these. And then nobody can live alone. And then he says, but I was always alone in my heart. I ran on ahead without caring about anybody else. I took the fact he was there for granted. And then he goes over to the river and he's thinking, I know that even if I come here, I won't find him. Whenever I see the sunset from here, I remember the smells, the air, the noise I heard that day. That's why I don't like the sunset. But never forget what happened that day, which means I just need to look at the sunset until I see it and feel nothing. I just need to get over it. And then he's thinking, what do I live for if my dad's dead? And then he takes a picture of it. And then we're back to the present and he says, and the rest I've already told you. That's when I stopped getting involved with other people, or at least when I thought I did. He says, I'm sorry, this has nothing with tell Sachi this has nothing to do with you, does it? And then she remembers either what he or she said. I was thinking that this happiness might not last forever. And then Sachi says, but you know better than anyone that happiness doesn't last forever. Yeah, okay. So, and then she says, that's why you said you'd make me happy for a lifetime, because that's what you wanted to tell your dad. The life you shared with me in that one-room apartment wasn't a lie or a fake or some kind of act. It was the happiness that you wanted to share with your father. And we see all like the happy moments they had at the apartment. And then Sachi says, the fact that you gave me the name Sachi, which means happiness, is proof of that. You didn't really want to die, it's just that all you could see ahead of you was life and darkness. And life was darkness. You wanted somebody to tell you that it was okay to keep living. And then she says, this is the answer to the question you wanted to ask me in the hotel. And she hugs him and says, I finally understand. Haru, I get it now. And then, Haru says, I get it now. And he hugs her back, says, wanted to be happy. And Sachi says, take back what I said about killing you, mister. I want to live alongside you. What about you, Haru? And Sachi says, I promise I'm not going to die. I'll live alongside you, so you better not die and leave me either. Then Haru is thinking, is it okay for me to trust someone again? He says, tell me, Dad. And that's the end of the chapter. So yeah, we got the rest of Haru's flashback, learning what happened to his dad, how he died, why Haru ended up the way he is. And yeah, pretty good chapter. Hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. If you did, make sure to like the video, or leave a like, comment on the video, subscribe for more anime reaction reviews and manga reviews. Check out the links down below to my Twitter, Twitch, and Discord, and I'll see y'all later. So yeah,